Okay, the next thing we did was we inserted some div tags. So I'm going to click in front of the headline, and then from my common insert menu, I'll insert the div tag. And here I'm inserting the div tag at the insertion point, and since I haven't made a class yet, I'm going to make another new CSS rule. This time I will use the class as the selector rather than the tag, because a class can be used repeatedly and you can apply it anywhere. So instead of saying all H1s look like this, because in this case I don't really care about the H1 tag. I actually want to use the div tag as like a container. So the class kind of makes more sense in that way. And remember that a class always has to start with dot. So I'm going to name it dot left. That's going to remind me that I'm actually going to float this left. And then I will store this in my style.css sheet. So this time I'm not really too concerned for the type in terms of the rule definition. I want to make sure that my textual alignment is going to go left and that my box floats left, and then I'll just assign it a width. I'll go ahead and assign it 40%. We could do this by pixels or by percentages. This time around I'm going to do it 40% and we'll take a look at what happens. So I'll click OK, and I'll click OK through this, and the div tag shows up here, right where I had my mouse. So I'm just going to take all of this material and Command X to copy it, and then highlight this area and Command V like vector to paste. So I have my first div tag happening here. And this would be a good time to save everything and then go ahead and preview this in a web browser. It doesn't matter which browser right now. So I'm previewing in Safari, and there's my div tag hanging out on the left side of my page, taking up about 40% of my browser. So as I drag and pull my browser, you can actually see this thing changing. You can also see Safari loading up my page in the background. Too much stuff happening at once. Okay. So I'm just going to click outside of that div tag, and sometimes, I don't know if you can see my blinking cursor, it's really hard to see it, but if it's hard for you to see, you can also go to your code and just find the very, very end of it and insert your cursor there, and that should also do it, the same thing. But here I'm clicking, and one more time I'm going to insert the same div tag. So this time, add insertion point, class left. So another div tag, I didn't mean to say the same, another div tag, but the same class. Class is left. And I'll click OK, and that just gives me a repeat of that same div tag. And again, I'll just maybe copy and paste, Command C and then Command V like vector to paste some of that there. So I'm going to save all, and one more time view this in Safari. So now I've got two columns, and I've got text that's like running into each other. So I want to make a couple of adjustments back in Dreamweaver. And actually this is a good time to stop the video, and then I'll make one more video.